Hey everyone, welcome back to Brain Boogers. I'm MJ, and today we're wrapping up our series on the Big 5 personality traits with a deep dive into extroversion, what I like to call the connector and motivator. Whether you're the life of the party or prefer quieter corners, this one's for you. Make sure to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss the latest insights. Share this episode with someone who could use a little inspiration. Your experiences help us all move forward together. Before we begin, please note, the content shared on this podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only, and is based on research, personal experiences as a coach, and anecdotes from my wellness journey. I am not a psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist, or licensed mental health professional. This podcast does not offer medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you are experiencing mental health issues or have inquiries concerning your well-being, it is advised to seek assistance from a qualified healthcare provider or mental health professional. All right, let's start with the basics. Extroversion isn't just about being outgoing, it's a spectrum. The extroversion spectrum refers to the full range of how people experience and express extroversion, from highly extroverted to highly introverted, with lots of variation in between. Here's what it looks like. Individuals expressing high extroversion are energized by social interaction. They tend to be outgoing, talkative, enthusiastic, assertive, and love being around people. They often seek excitement and stimulation from the outside world. Individuals expressing ambiversion, middle of the spectrum, tend to fall somewhere in the middle. They're comfortable in social situations, but also enjoy and need alone time to recharge. Ambiverts can dial their social energy up or down depending on the situation. Individuals expressing high introversion or low extroversion are energized by solitude and quiet reflection. They may enjoy socializing, but it can be draining if it's too much or too frequent. They're often more reserved, thoughtful, and prefer deep, one-on-one conversations over large groups. We understand this trait to be a spectrum because it's not just extrovert or introvert. You might be more extroverted at work, but more introverted in personal life, or vice versa. You might also shift along the spectrum at different times in your life, or depending on your mood, environment, or stress level. Misunderstandings about extroversion and introversion are everywhere, and they can really shape how people see themselves and each other. Here are some of the most common misconceptions. 1. It's just about being social or shy. The misconception is that extroverts are always outgoing and love parties. Introverts are quiet, shy, or antisocial, when in reality, extroversion is about where you get your energy. Extroverts recharge around others. Introverts recharge alone. An introvert can enjoy socializing, and an extrovert can love quiet time. It's about the energy cost or gain, not just behavior. Extroversion is to social immersion as introversion is to seclusion. Introverts often seek seclusion or intentional solitude to recharge and process, and extroverts often seek out social immersion, actively participating in group activities, conversations, or environments with lots of interaction to feel energized and fulfilled. 2. It's either or. You're one or the other. The misconception is that people are either extroverts or introverts with no in between, when in reality, most people are somewhere on the spectrum, ambiverts, and their social energy can shift with context, mood, or life stage. 3. Introverts don't like people. The misconception is that introverts dislike socializing or people in general, when in reality, introverts often value deep, meaningful connections and may prefer smaller groups or one-on-one interactions. It's not about disliking people, it's about how much and what kind of interaction feels fulfilling. 4. Extroverts are always confident and happy. The misconception is that extroverts are naturally confident, positive, and never feel awkward, when in reality, extroverts can struggle with confidence, anxiety, or self doubt just like anyone else. Their outward energy doesn't mean they're always comfortable. 5. Introverts can't be good leaders or public speakers. The misconception is that leadership and public speaking are for extroverts only, when in reality, introverts are also fantastic leaders, speakers, and motivators, often bringing thoughtfulness, empathy, and deep listening to the table. And 6. Extroverts don't need alone time. The misconception is that extroverts are always on and never need solitude, when in reality, extroverts can get overwhelmed and need downtime too. They just may need less of it or seek it in different ways. Extroversion and introversion are about energy management, not just social skills or preferences. Both are valuable, and understanding the nuances can help us appreciate ourselves and others more fully. To help us better understand personality science of extroversion, the NEO-PI-R, or neuroticism, extroversion, openness, personality inventory, revised, is one of the most widely used assessments for measuring the Big Five personality traits. When it comes to extroversion, the NEO-PI-R breaks it down into 6 distinct facets that give a nuanced picture of how someone expresses extroversion. Here's a breakdown of each facet under extroversion. 1. Warmth, which includes friendliness, openness, and affection toward others. High scorers are genuinely interested in others and easily form close relationships. Low scorers are more reserved, distant, or formal, even if they like people. 2. Gregariousness, which includes enjoyment of being around others and participating in social gatherings. High scorers thrive in groups, love parties, and team activities. Low scorers prefer solitude or small, familiar groups. 3. Assertiveness, which includes a tendency to speak up, lead, and take charge in social situations. High scorers often take the initiative and are comfortable being the center of attention. Low scorers are more likely to let others lead and may be quieter in groups. 4. Activity level, which includes a general pace of living and preference for a busy, energetic lifestyle. High scorers are always on the go, enjoy a fast pace, and like to keep busy. Low scorers tend to prefer a slower, more relaxed tempo. 5. Excitement seeking, which includes a desire for stimulation, adventure, and novelty. High scorers seek out thrills, new experiences, and sometimes take risks. Low scorers prefer routine, predictability, and less stimulation. And 6. Positive emotions, which involves a tendency to experience and express positive feelings like enthusiasm, happiness, and joy. High scorers frequently feel energetic, cheerful, and optimistic. Low scorers frequently feel more subdued and less expressive of positive emotions, but not necessarily unhappy. When someone takes the NEO-PI-R, they get a score for overall extroversion and for each of the 6 facets. This helps paint a detailed, individualized picture. For example, someone might be high in gregariousness, but low in excitement seeking. This matters as understanding these facets lets you see that extroversion isn't just about being outgoing. It's a blend of different social and emotional tendencies, which can help with self-awareness, communication, and personal growth. Now, let's connect this to attachment styles. The way extroversion shows up in our lives is often shaped by our attachment styles, a core concept in mental health and relationships. Here are the 4 styles and how they interact. 1. Secure attachment. Extroverts with secure attachment are comfortable forming close relationships and seeking support from others. They enjoy socializing without anxiety or fear of rejection, and they use social interactions as a healthy way to connect, recharge, and share emotions. Introverts with secure attachment prefer smaller groups or one-on-one interactions, but still feel safe and confident in relationships. They can set boundaries without guilt and trust others easily. 2. Anxious or preoccupied attachment. Extroverts with anxious attachment often seek out social situations for reassurance and validation. They may become overly dependent on others' approval or fear being alone. And their social energy can be high, but it's sometimes driven by anxiety about relationships. Introverts with anxious attachment may crave connection, but feel nervous or insecure about reaching out. They might ruminate on social interactions and worry about being liked. 3. Avoidant or dismissive attachment. Extroverts with avoidant attachment can appear outgoing and sociable, but keep emotional distance. They enjoy group settings where intimacy is less likely, avoiding deep one-on-one connections, and they may use socializing as a way to distract from closeness or vulnerability. Introverts with avoidant attachment prefer solitude and may actively avoid emotional closeness. Also, they can seem aloof or detached, not just from groups, but even from close relationships. And 4. Fearful avoidant or disorganized attachment. Extroverts with fearful avoidant attachment may oscillate between craving connection and pushing people away. Their social energy is inconsistent, where sometimes they're the life of the party and at other times withdrawn. And interactions can be intense but unstable. Introverts with fearful avoidant attachment may deeply desire connection but are also wary or fearful of intimacy, can appear unpredictable, and sometimes seeking closeness, sometimes retreating. In all, extroversion influences how much and what kind of social connection we seek. Attachment style shapes how safe, secure, or anxious we feel about those connections. I like to highlight attachment styles in the effort that what we notice can be managed and better understood. And when moments seem overwhelming, I find it useful to eat the elephant one bite at a time. The tool I like to use is the basic pH model of coping. The basic pH model is a framework for understanding different coping strategies people use in response to stress or challenges. It stands for belief, affect, social engagement, imagination, cognition, and physiological or physical manifestations. Let's break down how extroversion interacts with each of the basic pH coping strategies. 1. Belief. Extroverts may seek out group or community beliefs, find comfort in shared values, or turn to collective rituals for strength. Introverts might rely more on personal beliefs, interfaith, or individual spiritual practices. 2. Affect. Extroverts often express emotions outwardly, talking through emotions and feelings with others, showing enthusiasm or frustration openly. Introverts may process emotions internally, journaling or reflecting before sharing. 3. Social engagement. Extroverts seek support, advice, or comfort from friends, family, or groups. They may cope best when surrounded by others. Introverts might prefer one-on-one support or smaller, more intimate circles, and sometimes withdraw to recharge. 4. Imagination. Extroverts could use group activities as coping tools like brainstorming sessions or team-based problem solving. Introverts might lean into solitary creative outlets like art, writing, daydreaming, or solo creative projects. 5. Cognition. Extroverts may process and solve problems by talking things out, engaging in group discussions, or seeking outside perspectives. Introverts often prefer internal reasoning, reflection, or solo research before making decisions. And 6. Physiological manifestations. Extroverts are likely to enjoy physically active, social coping strategies like group workouts, team sports, and dance classes. Introverts may prefer solo activities like yoga, running, or walking, focusing on how their body feels in a quieter setting. Extroverts naturally gravitate toward coping strategies that involve others, especially social and emotional, and group-based belief or activity. But everyone can benefit from exploring all 6 basic pH strategies, regardless of where they fall on the extroversion spectrum. If you want, you can cultivate more extroversion or introversion, though your natural tendencies or your baseline will always play a role. Think of it as expanding your range, not changing your core personality. You can build extroverted skills and comfort even if you're naturally introverted. Here's how. 1. Start small. Say hello to a neighbor, join a small group, or strike up a short conversation at work. Gradually increase your social exposure. 2. Practice social skills. Set goals like introducing yourself to someone new each week or participating in group activities. 3. Use social warm-ups. Before big events, try energizing activities like music, movement, and positive self-talk to boost your confidence and mood. And 4. Reflect on positive experiences. After socializing, notice what felt good. This can help reinforce positive associations with being more outgoing. Now, here are ways you can also nurture introverted qualities even if you're naturally extroverted. 1. Schedule solo time. Block out time for reflection, journaling, or solo activities that let you recharge. 2. Practice mindfulness. Meditation, deep breathing, or mindful walks can help you get comfortable with your own thoughts and feelings. 3. Deepen one-on-one connections. Focus on building deeper relationships with a few people rather than spreading your energy widely. And 4. Embrace quiet hobbies. Try activities like reading, drawing, gardening, or solo workouts. These actions aid flexibility by expanding your comfort zone, allowing opportunities to let you adapt to different situations, whether that's networking, leading a team, or managing stress. And personal growth, aiding in developing both sides of the spectrum to improve your resilience, creativity, and self-understanding. You can cultivate more extroversion or introversion through intentional practice, reflection, and gentle challenges. It's about growth and giving yourself more tools for connection, self-care, and success, not forcing yourself to be someone you're not. Now, I like to highlight the ups and downs, and in this case, the ways our personality traits can be manipulated against our efforts. Extroverted individuals, because of their outgoing and people-oriented nature, can sometimes be more vulnerable to certain forms of being taken advantage of, especially in social, work, or relationship settings. Here's how this can happen. 1. Overcommitting or people-pleasing. Extroverts often enjoy helping others and being involved, which can lead to taking on too many responsibilities or saying yes when they want to say no. Others may take advantage by repeatedly asking for favors, expecting them to organize events, or leaning on them emotionally without reciprocation. 2. Being the social glue. Because they connect people and keep groups together, extroverts might be relied on to manage group dynamics or resolve conflicts, sometimes at their own expense. They may not get the support they need in return, as others assume they're always okay. 3. Manipulation through flattery or social pressure. Extroverts can be susceptible to flattery, public praise, or peer pressure, feeling compelled to go along with a group or maintain their fun or helpful image. They might be pushed into situations or commitments they're not comfortable with just to keep the peace or stay light. 4. Emotional labor. Their openness makes them approachable, so people may dump their problems on them, expecting emotional support without offering the same in return. Over time, this can lead to burnout or resentment if boundaries aren't set. 5. Workplace exploitation. In team settings, extroverts may be asked to do more presentations, attend more meetings, or handle more networking tasks, sometimes without proper recognition or compensation. And 6. Assumption of constant availability. Because they're often seen as always on, people may assume extroverts don't need downtime or privacy, leading to constant demands on their time and energy. Now, here's how extroverts can protect themselves. 1. Set boundaries. Practice saying no and prioritize your own needs. 2. Check in with yourself. Regularly assess if you're giving too much without getting enough support back. 3. Communicate clearly. Let others know when you need space or help. And 4. Recognize manipulation. Be aware of flattery or guilt-tripping tactics that push you into uncomfortable situations. Being extroverted is a strength, but it's important to balance giving with self-care. Introverted individuals, just like extroverts, have unique strengths but can also be vulnerable to being taken advantage of, especially in environments or relationships that don't value their boundaries or communication style. Here's how this can show up. 1. Being overlooked or ignored. Introverts may not speak up as much in group settings, so their ideas, contributions, or needs can be overlooked or dismissed. Others might take credit for their work or ignore their input, assuming silence means agreement. 2. Assigned unwanted tasks. Because introverts might avoid confrontation, they can be given less desirable tasks or extra work, especially if they're unlikely to push back or say no. 3. Emotional labor without recognition. Introverts often listen deeply and provide thoughtful support, but their quiet help can go unacknowledged, leading to one-sided relationships. 4. Taken for granted in friendships or teams. Their preference for one-on-one or smaller interactions can make it easy for others to forget to include them in group decisions or social plans, or to assume they're fine on their own. 5. Manipulation through guilt or obligation. Others might guilt trip introverts into social activities or commitments by saying things like, "You never come out with us," or "Don't you care about the team?" playing on their sense of responsibility or loyalty. 6. Assumption of weakness or lack of ambition. Quietness can be mistaken for lack of confidence or drive, leading people to underestimate or sideline introverted individuals, sometimes using them as background support, rather than recognizing their leadership potential. And 7. Difficulty setting boundaries. Introverts might struggle to assert their needs for space, downtime, or alone time, so others may intrude on their boundaries or expect them to be available when they're not. Here's how introverts can protect themselves. 1. Practice assertiveness. Learn to say no and communicate needs clearly, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. 2. Document contributions. In work or group settings, keep a record of your ideas and input to ensure recognition. Cover your ass and keep the receipts. 3. Set clear boundaries. Let others know when you need alone time or can't take on extra work. Remember the power of saying no. And 4. Seek supportive environments. Surround yourself with people who respect your communication style and boundaries. Introversion is a strength. Deep thinking, listening, and reflection are incredibly valuable. Protecting those strengths is about self-advocacy and finding spaces that honor your needs. Let's bring in a wellness tool. Ho'oponopono, a Hawaiian practice of reconciliation, forgiveness, and emotional clearing, can be a powerful tool for both extroverts and introverts, though it may support each in different ways. Here's how Ho'oponopono supports extroversion. 1. Emotional reset after social interactions. Extroverts often thrive on social connection, but misunderstandings or conflicts can happen in any group. Ho'oponopono helps clear emotional clutter, allowing extroverts to maintain positive relationships and bounce back quickly from social hiccups. 2. Deepening authentic connections. Practicing Ho'oponopono encourages honesty, vulnerability, and empathy, which can help extroverts go beyond surface-level interactions and build more meaningful bonds. And 3. Preventing burnout from overcommitment. Because extroverts may overextend themselves socially, Ho'oponopono's focus on self-forgiveness and compassion can help them recognize their limits and let go of guilt around saying no or needing downtime. Here's how Ho'oponopono supports introversion. 1. Processing emotions internally. Introverts often process feelings privately and may hold on to resentment or self-criticism. Ho'oponopono provides a gentle, structured way to work through emotions, even without external discussion. 2. Healing past social wounds. If introverts have experienced social rejection or misunderstandings, Ho'oponopono offers a path to forgiveness of self and others, making it easier to re-engage socially when they're ready. And 3. creating space for self-acceptance. Through the practice's affirmations, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. Introverts can cultivate self-compassion, which supports their need for healthy boundaries and solo time without guilt. Ho'oponopono is about clearing emotional blocks, whether those are from too much socializing, not enough, or the tensions that arise in any relationship. It's a tool for restoring balance, deepening self-awareness, and fostering healthier connections, no matter where you fall on the extroversion-introversion spectrum. So what's next? Let's reflect. Where do you land on the extroversion spectrum? Let's experiment by trying new ways of connecting or recharging. Let's communicate to friends and loved ones of our needs, and let's practice tools like the basic pH model and Ho'oponopono to support your growth. Extroversion isn't about being loud or quiet, it's about how you connect, motivate, and recharge. Embrace your spot on the spectrum. Play with new strategies, and remember, growth is personal. Thanks for joining me for this series on the Big 5 personality traits, or CANOE. Today, we talked about extroversion as a spectrum, ranging from high extroversion to high introversion, with ambiversion in between. We addressed common misconceptions about extroversion and introversion, emphasizing that they relate to energy management rather than social behavior. We looked at the NEO-PI-R tool as a way to measure extroversion, breaking it down into 6 facets: warmth, gregariousness, assertiveness, activity level, excitement seeking, and positive emotions. We looked at attachment styles expressed through the extroversion spectrum, exploring how different attachment styles, secure, anxious, avoidant, and fearful avoidant, influence how extroversion manifests in relationships and social settings. We highlighted the basic pH coping framework for coping strategies, showing how extroversion interacts with belief, affect, social engagement, imagination, cognition, and physiological responses. And we highlighted how to cultivate extroversion and introversion and use Ho'oponopono for restoration and balance. Wow. I challenge you this week. Try meditation on your expression of extroversion and introversion, journaling, or even Ho'oponopono. Notice how it feels, what you realize, and determine how to address what you've discovered. If you found value in today's episode, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss the latest insights. Share this episode with someone who could use a little inspiration. Your experiences help us all move forward together. Next week, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the Big 5 personality traits, NEO-PI-R, champions and challenges, your basic pH, and Ho'oponopono. Until then, keep growing, keep questioning, and most of all, keep being you. Take care and join me next time where we'll pick and dig in on Brain Boogers.